In the near future, the damage to Earth's environment caused a new ice age that dominated the planet, and now humanity must live underground to survive. In one of the few remaining outposts, an alarm sounds and screams can be heard before two terrified people start running down the hallway because something dangerous is behind them. They reach a door, but unfortunately, it's locked, and the duo is killed by their pursuer. Meanwhile, in another outpost, Sam is outside fixing the satellite antennas when he notices some men coming out. The sick guy asks for one more day to recover, but Mason thinks they have already wasted enough resources on him and prepares to shoot, ignoring the fact that the guy is begging for the walk. Sam interrupts them and reminds Mason that sick people have the choice to walk out or be shot, which should be respected, but Mason doesn't care and kills the guy anyway, saying it's for their survival. When he returns inside, it becomes clear that these few survivors live in a confined space with limited resources and have become terrified of a simple cold. The last time they had the flu, they killed 20 people in less than a week. It was then that their leader Briggs created a new rule. If someone gets sick, they go into quarantine. If they don't get better, they must choose between a bullet or a long walk in the snow. The people in this outpost work hard to take care of each other and continue to cultivate seeds, but they are no longer the hundreds they were at the beginning, as food becomes scarcer each year. There are rumors of a paradise with warm weather, but Sam doesn't believe in them. Sam goes to see Briggs to tell him that Mason broke the rules, and while Briggs isn't happy with what he's hearing, there's something more urgent he needs to address first. They go to the communications room, and Cooper informs them that they've received an SOS loop from Colony 5, but they haven't responded to any messages. Briggs calls an emergency meeting in half an hour while Sam goes to talk to Victor, who is in charge of the animals. Unfortunately, he also has bad news. The last litter of rabbits was stillborn, and of the 12 remaining, there's only one female whom the other rabbits refuse to mate with. Meanwhile, Briggs goes to see Mason to reprimand him for what he did, but Mason still defends his decision, saying that the walkers will come back and take their food. Afterward, Sam goes to see his girlfriend Kai, who brings him some pellets for the rabbits while talking about her work. She thinks that climate modification technology exists and is buried somewhere under the ice, so she'll continue searching for it with her radar to never lose hope. Moments later, the survivors gather for the meeting. Dexter reminds his wife not to cough, and as Sam passes by, he realizes that they aren't well and tells them to go to their rooms, but Dexter says they are fine. At that moment, Briggs enters and informs everyone about the situation with Colony 5, announcing that he will lead a team to check on them. Mason protests, saying they shouldn't spare resources or people in these difficult times, but he is ignored. Then Briggs invites Dexter to join the team, and to save him, Sam offers to take his place, saying Dexter should stay with the turbines. Graydon also volunteers, ignoring his father Victor's protests. With their team complete, Briggs leaves Kai in charge until they return. Suddenly, Dexter's wife sneezes, and people cover their faces while backing away from her. The couple is immediately put in quarantine, and Mason complains again, saying they should test them and that Kai cannot be a strong leader. Briggs reprimands him and tells him to wait for his return to decide anything about the sick couple. Under a snowstorm, a boy continues walking against the wind until he is shocked to find his mother dead on the ground. At that moment, Sam wakes up, revealing that it was a nightmare about his mother's death. Kai comforts him and reminds him that it wasn't his fault. The next day, the team sets out on their mission, meaning they have to walk quite a bit while enduring the freezing snow and wind. After crossing an abandoned city, they find an old climate modification machine, but unfortunately, it's not working. Moments later, they reach a bridge and carefully cross it, which is harder than it looks due to the damage it has suffered over the years. They walk around the gaps, and Briggs nearly falls when a piece of the bridge breaks under his feet, but he steps back in time. At the end of the bridge, they find a car with a dead man beside it and a gun in his hand. When they look closer, they find the family dead inside the car and realize that the man killed them before committing suicide. After a long trek in the snow, the trio finds a crashed helicopter and enters to use it as shelter for the night. The next day, they finally arrive at Colony 5 and are shocked to find blood outside the main entrance. When they enter, they can also smell smoke. The trio goes down the stairs and finds even more blood, while it is revealed that this is the hallway from the beginning, This colony was supposed to have 50 people, so the fact that no one is there to greet them is also concerning. Briggs hands Graydon a gun in case they need it, and the trio continues to explore, finding blood on the floor and destroyed rooms, no matter which hallway they choose. They are ready to accept that everyone is dead when suddenly they hear a noise coming from a locked room. Sam grabs the key, and when they open the door, they find a man on the floor. They slowly approach, only for Leland to suddenly scream at them, begging for mercy. The trio promises that they are friends, and Leland asks them to close the door again before accepting a bit of food and water. He has been trapped there for many days and is not sure if anyone else is alive. He also explains that a few days ago, his colony fixed their antenna and received a message that he now shows the trio. On the screen, a man appears in an area without snow, explaining that his group fixed a climate modification machine and successfully melted the permafrost. So now they have access to fertile soil. The only thing they need now is seeds. Unfortunately, the transmission is interrupted, and they only hear half of the location. Leland tells them that he triangulated the transmission and sent a team to find this warm area, but they never found it. Something dangerous found them instead and followed them back to the colony. Sam asks Leland to mark the location on his map. Then Briggs tells him they will take him back with them. However, Leland is so afraid to leave the room that he reveals he wasn't the noise they heard. The trio gathers all the supplies they can find in the room and tries to contact their colony, without success. Finally, they leave and try to drag Leland with them, but some strange sounds can be heard, and Leland becomes so terrified that he runs back inside and closes the door. The trio keeps moving forward without him, and the deeper they go into the outpost, the more noises and screams they hear. Eventually, they see the light from some torches and approach to find a disturbing scene. Surrounded by the bodies of the colonists, there's a man mutilating a body, and others are feeding on human flesh. Suddenly, the butcher senses them and turns ready to attack, but Sam shoots him first. The shot causes more cannibals to wake up from the pile of bodies, and the leader screams as they start chasing the group down the hallways. Sam shoots the leader in the ear and manages to kill another guy, but there are too many, so Briggs throws a stick of dynamite to slow them down. Graydon accidentally separates from the group, but manages to step back before being surrounded by cannibals who immediately attack him. Briggs and Sam finally appear and fight the attackers, killing them one by one until they are all dead. Unfortunately, when they check Graydon, it's too late. He is dead too. There's no time to mourn. Briggs and Sam need to keep running. After climbing the stairs, Sam shoots another cannibal and runs out of ammo, so Briggs breaks the stairs to prevent the cannibals from following them. Unfortunately, there is already a cannibal there, so Briggs proceeds to fight him, and after much effort, manages to shoot him. The other cannibals soon arrive and see what Briggs did, so the leader screams at him in fury. As the duo leaves, Briggs throws dynamite at the entrance to destroy this tower and seal the colony. They walk under the snow for a while, and when they find the helicopter again, Briggs decides they will spend the night in it because the temperature is dropping very quickly. They start discussing the cannibals, and Briggs says that people do terrible things to survive, then shares a story about his time in the army. During the relief, 20,000 people were gathered in a stadium. The soldiers distributed food and doctors treated the sick, but when the food ran out, armed people began taking things from unarmed people. Soon there was nothing left to take, and the superiors began deciding who lived and who died. Mason was part of Briggs's squad at the time, and they left that shelter together to find a place where this kind of problem would never happen again. The next morning, the duo discovers that the cannibals have been following their tracks and are now getting closer. Sam fears they will follow them back to the colony, but Briggs has a plan to stop them. They run across the bridge as fast as possible and make a difficult leap to cross more quickly, then set a lit dynamite next to the gap and hide behind some broken plates. Unfortunately, the wind blows out the fuse, and when Sam offers to light it again, Briggs knocks him down and goes himself. The wind makes it very hard to use his lighter, but Briggs keeps trying while some cannibals try to jump and fall through the gap. Once Briggs finally lights the fuse, he fights the cannibals on purpose to draw them closer, and suddenly the dynamite explodes in his hands. The explosion kills Briggs and knocks down the middle of the bridge, making it impossible to cross now. Sam sees that some cannibals, including the leader, survived and are glaring at him from the other side, so he starts running again. Meanwhile, back at the outpost, Mason has taken Dexter and his wife outside, ignoring their pleas for mercy. Mason shoots the wife, but before he can shoot Dexter as well, Kai comes out and threatens to shoot him if he doesn't stop. An argument ensues over how the colony should be led, but at that moment they hear Sam screaming for help. Dexter uses the distraction to escape, and Kai runs to check on Sam, who passes out from the cold. Mason also approaches and knocks Kai out. A few hours later, Sam wakes up inside the outpost and has to give Victor the bad news about his son. Suddenly, Mason enters and handcuffs Sam to the bed, saying there's been a change in command and using survival as an excuse. Rations will be cut in half, anyone showing signs of illness will be tested immediately, and anyone refusing to work will not eat. Sam tells Mason everything that happened and insists they must leave before the cannibals find them, mentioning the warm place he saw in the video. However, Mason doesn't believe him and leaves the room, taking everyone with him. Before leaving, a little boy reveals he stole the keys to the handcuffs and secretly hands them to Sam. Outside, Mason and Victor are on the lookout for potential invaders, but see nothing. Victor points out that Sam isn't the type to lie, so they should be ready for an attack nonetheless. They decide to use the security cameras, but are interrupted when another colonist informs them that Sam has escaped. Back with Sam, he searches for Kai and finds her tied up in another room. After quickly freeing her, he uses her computer to look for the location of the message. At first, he doesn't see anything, but after looking around, the radar finally detects a warm area, confirming that there is an area without ice. The couple grabs as many seeds as they can carry in their backpacks and rushes to warn the others, only to be intercepted by Mason and his men, who remind him who's in charge. Suddenly, there is a loud noise from outside, so the group rushes to check the security cameras. To their horror, they see the cannibals pounding on the doors trying to break in, and the leader holds up Dexter's head as a threat before smashing the camera. Finally, believing Sam, Mason quickly gives orders. Everyone who can shoot should receive a weapon, and the rest of the people must hide in the safe room. As Cooper guides all the colonists into the safe room and secures the door, the armed group rushes down the hallway to wait for the door to lower. For a moment, the lights go out, and when they come back on, the door opens, but no one enters. Now the noises can be heard inside the shelter, and suddenly a cannibal bursts out of the duct right in front of Cooper. He tries to defend himself, but the cannibal tackles him and rushes into the safe room, only for the colonists to slam the door in his face. In another hallway, a lost girl is looking for shelter, but a cannibal finds her and kills her. The armed group realizes that the cannibals are in the ducts, but it's too late, as the enemy also finds them. A fierce fight begins with both sides losing people, but no matter how many cannibals they kill, more keep coming. Sam and Kai escape, but Victor is too tired to run and confronts the leader. He puts up a good fight, but unfortunately, the leader kills him first. Meanwhile, a wounded Mason rushes to a safe room where some survivors that couldn't reach the safe room are hiding, slamming the door before Sam and Kai can get in. A cannibal is approaching, so a colonist tackles Mason and allows the couple to enter, but unfortunately, the cannibal manages to follow them inside the room. Kai immediately shoots him, and they rush to close the door, but it won't hold for long because the remaining cannibals arrive and start pounding. Thinking quickly, Sam opens a duct and tells the group to follow him out. Mason protests, saying they will just freeze and that they must keep the enemy in there. The others ignore him and exit through the duct, and Sam pauses to give Mason a weapon before leaving. In just a few seconds, the cannibals break down the door and go after Mason, who shoots a gas tank to create a huge explosion. All the cannibals are killed, except the leader, who hides in the duct in time. Soon the leader reaches Sam, and they begin to fight inside the duct, which breaks under their collisions and causes them to fall into the animal room. The fight continues as Sam shoots everything he finds at the cannibal, but the man easily overpowers him and starts brutally beating him. After a few hits, the cannibal throws Sam to the ground and starts dragging him, which gives Sam the chance to grab a fallen knife and stab his opponent in the leg. The guy tries to defend himself, but this time it's Sam who overpowers him and starts beating him, furiously deforming his face before cutting off his head through the mouth. Then he tries to leave, only to find the hallway on fire. Outside, Kai and the remaining survivors emerge from the duct and watch their home burn. At that moment, Sam also emerges from the duct and tells them they need to find the warm place from the message. The group begins to walk in the snow, hoping they will soon find a new home.